One of the first big investments any crafter can make is a die cutting machine. And it's a great choice because they open up a whole world of creative possibility. But they can be quite expensive, and if you're creating in a small space, they can take up a lot of room on your desk. That's where mini die cutting machines can be a much better choice. But with so many on the market, how do you know which one is the very best for paper crafters? So I did what any crafty girl would do, and I bought a bunch of them to test. Welcome to part 2 of my Marvelous Minis series, where I'm testing mini die cutting machines so you don't have to. In today's video, I'll be testing the brand new mini die cutting and embossing machine from Lisa Horton Crafts. This machine is not even available in Australia yet, but I've managed to get my hands on one. I'm super excited for this one. Now, if you missed part 1, I'm sure you're wondering, how will I know which machine is the best? Well, I'll be ranking them, of course, because ranking things is fun. I'll be ranking them on performance, price, and practicality. The 3 P's. Every machine in this series will be scored out of 5 for these 3 categories, making the very best score 15. The total score will determine where the machine sits on my Marvelous Minis leaderboard, which I'll update after every episode. After episode 1, the leaderboard looks just like this. And I now need to know how today's machine will compare. So let's jump on into the unboxing and the testing. This is the Lisa Horton Crafts mini die cutting and embossing machine. Let's see what's in the box. Anything else? No. This piece right here is the main reason I wanted to test this machine. This is the base, and as you can see, it's quite different from the other mini die cutting machines on the market. This has no clamp at all. It just sits on your desk like so, and the machine slides into it, just like this. How simple is that? It's super easy to just pull down the sides, and then you've got a lovely platform for your plates to sit on. These are the plates that you'll receive in the box. There are 2 cutting plates, a plate that is called a C plate, a B plate, and then this very thin D plate. Almost like a shim. So you might have noticed there are no instructions inside the box. Those are printed on the outside of the box. Here they are, and it is all pretty simple. To cut a standard thin die, you'll need your cutting plates and potentially the shim. And then for your embossing side of things, you'll need the B and C plates. That is a little bit different to the other machines, but I do like how simple and separated it all is. The only problem I see with this is that you have to keep the entire box just to have some instructions. So it would have been better, in my opinion, to have these printed so that you can throw the box away and still have your instruction sheet with your machine. The other thing I've noticed is that there are no dies that come with the machine. This certainly is not a starter kit. There's no dies, there's no paper, and I can't get crafting using just what's come from inside the box. I feel like that's a little bit of a missed opportunity actually, because I don't have any of the Lisa Horton Crafts dies, and it would have been nice to see them, to see their quality, and have one to test through the machine right out of the box. That's totally fine though. I will just have to jump straight into the other standard tests that I'm doing in this series. Before I do that though, we do need to check on this machine's vital stats. So as of today, this machine is not actually even available in Australia. I've ordered it from scrapbook.com and I paid $79.99 US plus shipping. I'm not going to count shipping because shipping from the US to Australia is crazy and that would really blow the price of this machine out of the water. So conversion wise, the US $79.99 converts to around 115 Aussie dollars just for the machine. It's actually very, very lightweight. It weighs 1 to 1.3 kilos and that's 2 to 2.9 pound. The feeding slot size is a full 3 inches. And as you can see, the plates here are quite large for a mini machine. So I have very high hopes for this one. I have a feeling that it could be a very good combination of the two machines I tested in episode 1. I'm hoping it's the best of each of those into one machine. In every episode, I'll be testing more mini die cutting machines, and any one of them could take the #1 spot on the leaderboard. I will be sure to leave links in the description box below for each of the machines so you can check them out. They are affiliate links, so when you use them, you make videos like this possible, even if you don't plan to shop. It really does help me out so much, so thank you for choosing to use them. Okay, let's get into it. It is time to get crafty, in the name of science, of course. Every machine in this series goes through the exact same tests. So let me walk you through what I'll be doing today. Test number 1 is to test the machine with the supplies that it comes with. And because this machine did not come with extra dies or embossing folders, I am going to need to jump straight to test number 2. Next up, I'll move on to my control tests using cardstock, vellum, and glitter card, because these are the 3 materials that us crafters use the most. If a machine can't handle those, it's not going to score well. After that, I'll test an intricate die because that's where some machines can really shine. And then the last test is an embossing folder because I know that we're using these machines not just to die cut, but to emboss as well. The exact same tests and the exact same supplies as episode 1 so that we can truly compare these machines side by side. I have gone ahead and pulled out my glass mat for this just so that I'm testing all of the machines on the same surface. And this one does actually have some little rubber feet on the bottom, so I think that will help to really keep it sturdy as well. And I will say it is very, very sturdy, just right out of the box. So I'm very happy about that. It's actually really nice not to have to worry about a clamping mechanism in the same way that I did have to worry about that with the We Are Makers Mini Evolution machine. On to the tests, and first up I'm going to use this Sizzix Thinlet die. It is the same one that I've used on all of the other machines, and I'll use the cutting plates for this because we are cutting. These are nice and long actually. I really like how they are a little bit longer than the other plates. Well, that's very smooth too. Let's see. Oh, that's a beautiful crisp cut. I really like that. I have gone ahead and grabbed the plates from the other machines so that we can compare them side by side. So this is the Lisa Horton crafts plate, and then this one is the We Are Makers Evolution. So ever so slightly longer, and then I think ever so slightly skinnier, only a couple of mil there. So these two are very, very similar. This one though is the Sizzix Sidekick, so it is considerably smaller. So that's quite a big difference there. It's really quite small compared to these other two. The next test is vellum. So let's see how this goes with a thinner material. I am going to cut into the same plate and try and keep one as the cutting plate and one as the top plate. I love this. Ooh, did you see that? I meant to hold that. Whoops. shot across the table. Okay, so this has not cut through on the end, but I think that was because I wasn't paying attention. Let's give this another try, shall we? I will pay more attention this time. In we go. Okay. And not quite. So to me, like it's done it, but not well. To me, I think this is because the vellum is really skinny compared to the cardstock, which is why we need this. So let's try that again, but with the shim. Let's add in the shim and see if that helps. I am going to add on some tape because I don't have a lot of wiggle room here. There we go. And then I'm guessing the D goes on top. Is that better? Oh, much better. Okay. So for the vellum, we do need to use this extra little piece of shim. Interesting. On to the next test, and this is glitter cardstock. I'm feeling quietly confident about this because with the Sizzix Sidekick, the pressure was too much and it was a real struggle. But now that I know that I need a shim with the vellum, I'm thinking this pressure is going to be just fine for something like this. Yes. That pressure's lovely, actually. Did it go though? Did it cut? No. Yes. Not super well though. There's a little bit there that wasn't quite right. That's really, really interesting. It did cut it out, but it had to be pushed. But I guess that's okay. I'm wondering if adding this would be too much pressure. So I'm not really keen to do that. Food for thought. Let's give that another go. I'm just curious. It feels good. Do you know what? I'm going to do 2 passes. This is 2 passes, forward and backwards. Oh yes, and it has cut through that. You can see that it's cut through very well. Maybe that's the trick for this one. And there are going to be little tricks for each machine. And once you have just the one, you get to know them. I'm actually really happy with that. That's really good. The next test is the intricate dies, and I have been using the Vivid Blooms to test this. So let's find some scratch cardstock and some of these smaller dies. This one's a really good one. It's some tiny leaves. And I also have these tiny flowers that will fit there really well. So let's tape these down. There we go. Because we're cutting, I'm using the 2 cutting plates, and I have cut into both plates, so I don't have a good one anymore. Let's see. Oh, beautiful. That's cut them super, super nice. I think this cardstock is actually the perfect cardstock in this machine. This is the Spellbinders coloured card, which is the one I use for all of my intricate dies like this for card making. They turned out great. And so did those. Beautiful. I feel like this machine was made for this specific use. It's done that so well, which is such good news because it's actually the main reason I wanted a mini die cutting machine. When I'm using these small dies and creating cards with lots of small pieces, it's annoying to have this big die cutting machine. So it is very, very much doing exactly what I wanted it to do. So I'm really happy with that. The one thing I haven't tested yet though is embossing. Let's see how it will go with that. So I have two folders here to test. This is the control. It is a thin embossing folder from Dari's from deep in my stash. I don't even think they make these anymore. I'm going to do it like so. It creates a decorative edge along one side. And now because we are embossing, I only need the B and C plates for this. Let's give this a whirl. The other embossing folder I have here is one of the ones that came with the We Are Makers Mini Evolution machine. So I'm keen to try that in here as well. Let's see. That is not embossing. That is not thick enough to be working. So I don't think our sandwich is correct here. Let me go back to the box. So this says B plate and C plate and then embossing folder. But I actually think there's so much gap there that I might try it with just one cutting plate and either of these plates for the embossing. I think these are actually interchangeable depending on the thickness of your embossing folder. So perhaps the skinnier one for those 3D embossing folders and then this thicker one for the standard ones. I want to give this a try. Let's see if that works. No, that feels too thick to me. That is too thick. Let's try that one and this one. That feels good. So that is a cutting plate and then the skinnier embossing plate. Oh, that's pretty. That turned out lovely though. So a little bit of trial and error there. And you know what? I'm thinking now as well, perhaps this is the optimal option for a Lisa Horton embossing folder. And because I don't have any of those either, I can't test that. I think I might have to buy a couple of her things just to test it in here. Let's do this embossing folder as well. Even though this is a little bit thicker, I feel like I'll just try it the same way again. So with the one skinnier embossing plate and the cutting pad. That feels pretty good. Is it a deep emboss? Yes. So yes, there did have to be a little bit of experimenting there, but it worked a treat. Oh, I'm really curious now as to whether her embossing folders are using these two plates or not, or whether I've misinterpreted the instructions. But this is all that I have to go on. So, interesting. A plate, A plate. I've done it per the instructions. So here are the machines side by side, and you can see that the We Are Makers Mini Evolution and the Sizzix Sidekick are quite similar. This machine's platform is considerably wider, and it needs to be because it doesn't have the clamping mechanism that these two machines have. Having said that though, it is super, super sturdy. And I really like this simple idea. There's nothing that can go wrong with this clamping mechanism. I don't need to be wary about knocking it in any way. And over time, this rubber may fail. I don't need to worry about any of that with this machine. So I think the design itself is actually really, really clever. I'm also a really big fan of the 3-inch feeding slot and the larger plates that come with these two machines. If I was going to buy just one machine tomorrow, it would not be the Sizzix Sidekick because of this smaller width here. I get so frustrated when I'm crafting and my small die doesn't fit through here. That extra 1/2 inch that comes with these two machines is well worth it. There is one more thing I really want to show you, and that is just how compact this machine can be once it's packed away. So you just lift up these parts here and slide it back out from the base, and then you're left with this very thin machine, and then the base that can stack beside it. This would very easily fit into a drawer, so it would be perfect for a small craft space. I also think this is a really good option for crafters who want to create on the go. If you're going to a lot of retreats or crafty events and you want to take a die cutting machine, this is perfect. I think this machine would be the perfect choice if you're that kind of crafter. I really like this one. I think this is so clever. The tests are done and the results are in. It is time to score on performance, price, and practicality. Let's see where the Lisa Horton Crafts mini die cutting machine ends up on our leaderboard. For performance, I'm giving this machine 4.5 out of 5 stars. I deducted 0.5 point just because of that glitter cardstock and the fact that I had to run it through the machine twice. Remember that cardstock is very thick, and I feel much more confident running it through this machine than I do with the Sizzix machine. Now, in terms of the vellum, I've thought about this and I am not going to deduct a point for that because it cut beautifully once I used the shim. And the shim is provided. If that shim was not provided, then I would have deducted a point. But the machine comes with everything you need to be able to cut vellum really well. For price, I'm giving the machine 4 out of 5 stars. Yes, I am still saving that 5 out of 5 star rating for the cheaper Amazon machines, which I've yet to test. This machine is comparable to the We Are Makers Mini Evolution, and that one got 4 stars as well. Now, there is one thing though that I'm not sure if I should consider or not, and that is the fact that this machine came with no extras. When you compare that to what was included in the We Are Makers Mini Evolution, it doesn't seem quite fair. Let me know what you think. For now, I have just ranked the machine price itself. So I'm just comparing the machines and I'm considering those extras that are included as maybe bonuses. I really do wish she had included even just one small die that I could have tested here. Moving on to practicality, which is really important and super personal. What works for me as a paper crafter may not work for you, and I can only speak to my own personal experience. Now that I've tested 3 of these machines, I'm starting to notice that there is this intangible component to my review. There's something that just makes a machine nice to use, and this machine has it in spades. I'm finding it hard to explain why, but there is no doubt in my mind that this machine should be getting 5 out of 5 stars for practicality. The way the plates glide through the machine, the overall feel of the machine, its quality, it's all good. It feels the sturdiest of the machines I've tested so far, and I am genuinely not worried at all about it moving on my desk, which I can't say about the other 2 machines. The clamping system, I'm not sure I'm that big a fan of it. I love too how you can remove it from the base so it will easily fit into a drawer or a tote. And realistically, it takes the best bits from the first two machines I tested and pops them all into one. It really is that good. Did I mention I really love this one? I've done the math and the Lisa Horton machine scored 13.5 out of 15, making it our new #1 machine on the leaderboard. Big surprise! It most certainly is the machine to beat, and it is the one I would grab if I were going to a crop. It has the broadest appeal of any of the machines I've tested so far. It would be perfect for beginners, anyone in a small craft space, and especially good for anyone wanting to travel and craft. The overall quality to me seems excellent, and while I can't speak to durability just yet, I can already tell that this was made to last. If you're wondering which die cutting machine I'm testing next, well, I did give you a big hint earlier when I mentioned Amazon. I found the cheapest die cutting machine yet. Could a budget-friendly option from Amazon actually compete? Well, I'm about to find out. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that episode. Not sure what to watch next? Well, I think you'll enjoy this one. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friend. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye.